Hey Tiger, this is Pete Buchanan from Plain Simple Golf. You know, I know that everybody out there is trying to give you some advice. I'm sure there's a lot of instructors that would love to be part of getting you back to where you were. But I have a different take on things, and I have a different look at the way the golf swing should be done in order to give you not only the ultimate ball control, but also continuing with distance so you don't lose any. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to gain some. So I just want to take a look, because I know today everybody's comparing you back to 2000 and say, hey, God, if he could just swing like he was doing in 2000. And lo and behold, they don't really realize just how close to 2000 you are swinging right now, which is pretty much darn identical. And I'll show you why based on the numbers that I come up with. And what I look at in every swing is there's a combination of vertical and horizontal movement that is needed in every golf swing to be efficient. And I've come up with a formula to look at it. And that formula is based off of 90 degrees. And the only reason it's based off 90 degrees is if we look at it, at address, horizontal is flat, and vertical obviously is straight up and down. So there's the 90 degrees we're talking about right there. And you can see the number, the degrees numbers will come up in here. So that's where I want you to see it. So we're talking about 90 degrees. So we look at the different places in the swing to figure out, okay, how are we being efficient relative to the original shaft angle at address, and using this 90 degrees, how can we get this golf club to swing so we're very efficient with it? So let's take a look at the swing on the left from 2000. And one of the things we're going to look at vertical and horizontal movement, as well as the original shaft plane at address. So let's start off. I always draw a circle around your hands, and that's where my starting point is to look at vertical. There's your shaft plane at address. It's 57 degrees, and you can see it right there. And I chose this video and the other video because they're both 57 degrees. The vertical is going to come from here, and this is where your hands go up in the backswing. So I've drawn a line here, and we're going to play this swing along and let it move. And we're going to watch as it comes away and moves and begins to go up in the swing. And a lot of these are in slow motion, so they take a little bit to go, but that's okay. The first 3 feet of the swing I'm always looking at is when you get right in here where your hands are in a position where the shaft is parallel to the ground and the target line. It should be across and opposite of your hands. So I like where it is here. You'll see in a minute the thing I don't like is where the shoulders are going. But we're going to follow this green line up, and this is pretty much the vertical motion of your swing. You're going to see here I drew a circle through your shoulder because I like the fact that the hands pass right through the shoulder and they go up to the top of the swing, and you're going to see here they're going to stop, and we're going to draw a line just from the butt end of the club that goes right down into your hand position at address. So there it is, 77 degrees. Right here is your vertical. One thing I want to note at the top of the swing here is you can see where the club head is here, where my mouse is. And relative to your forearm, you can see the club head has gone across that forearm. Anytime that happens, you're going to hit hooks and blocks. That's just what's going to happen, because at this point in the swing, the club face is actually closed to your arm position. So you're going to have to open it up in the downswing to keep it open. If you can time it, you're going to be good. And in 2000, I have to give you credit. You were timing it really good, but you were nowhere near controlling the golf ball like you wanted to be, and that's why you kept seeking more change. But the change that you're seeking is the one that we found. So that's just another point. But here's your 77, and now let's look at where your shoulders are. And I'll show you where this 90 degrees comes into play. What we want to do is, when we're always looking at these numbers, when we're looking at your vertical, which is 77, and your horizontal, which is 37, when we add these together, they need to be as close to 90 as possible. And you can see yours is 114. So you're quite a bit above that 90 degrees. As a matter of fact, you're way above it. And that's always going to tend to get high shots. You can get blocks to the right. And in this case, because of the shaft position, you're going to hit hooks to the left, unless you can hold it off. And so the other side of the coin is, you know, we take this 77 and we add 37, we get 114. On the other side, we should be able to take the vertical number, subtract the horizontal, and have it equal the shaft plane that you had at address. And in this case, 77 minus 37 is 40. And if we go to your shaft plane, yours at address, remember, was 57. So we're not even close. We're 17 degrees off. And that's significant in ball control. Significant. It should be a match. So we should take the vertical plus the horizontal and equal 90, and we should take the vertical minus the horizontal and equal your shaft at address. And that's critical. The other things we're going to look at, I have another line drawn in here, and this is one right here. This matches your forearm at the top of the swing. That should also be the same number as your shaft at address. Yours is 59. It's pretty close. So that's not a bad place to have that forearm. But we need significant turn in order to get these numbers down. So we need more horizontal movement. And that's where the shoulders come into play. The shoulders produce the proper horizontal movement. In your case, you're playing with all verticals. And when you play with all verticals, it's very difficult to control the golf ball. It becomes a timing issue, and that timing is hard to do. And so you did a pretty good job of it in 2000, but you know as well as I know that it still wasn't what you wanted. You didn't control the ball as well as you would have liked to. So now as you come back down, we're just going to let this thing run. You can see the hands are going to come right back down through your shoulder, which I like. And you can see you drop the shaft into, a position that's now parallel to the original shaft angle, which is good. Where it should drop in. But the club face was closed. Now you're having to open it. And as you come in here, you're going to see as it gets into impact, it gets a little bit above the original shaft angle. But then as you release it, it's parallel. But look at your shoulder position right here at impact. Now, it doesn't take long to figure out why you had back troubles eventually. That's why right there. Look at the pressure that's putting on your spine. Look at the pressure it's putting on your left knee. Yep, over time, that's going to wear out. And you found out it did. And so that lack of horizontal movement in the backswing makes you come in and use the shoulders to work underneath, one, to keep the face open, and two, to keep the club from slamming into the ground because of the vertical nature that you have. You learned how to do it, which is good, but it's going to have the golf club traveling into the floor. So then as you go through, one thing that I like to see here as you finish, watch your right arm as it comes up. Again, you're going to see the shaft getting more back on the original plane line, but then look where the right forearm is. Again, it's 59 degrees. It's pretty close. But look at your left arm. That's holding that club face as open as long as I can. That left arm is not going to release. Because if it does, that's where all those big hooks came from when you were playing in 2000. The ones you just couldn't stand. Those are always going to be in there if at the top of the swing that shaft crosses the forearm plane. It doesn't matter what you do. That's just a result of having that golf club there. So if you can hold it off, you can hold it off. And so there's the finish. Now, let's lo and behold move on to the right side in 2015. Let's look at your numbers. Let's just take a look at it. Shaft is 57 at address. Look at your vertical, 77. Look at your horizontal, 37. Ring a bell? Those are the exact same numbers you had in 2000. So all those guys out there saying, hey, you should go back to 2000, I got news for you. He is at 2000. But the difference is 15 years later, multiple surgeries, and 15 more years of life, you're not the same guy as you were in 2000. And timing this is getting harder and harder and harder. So if we can get these numbers down to a match, you won't have to time it anymore. It'll happen, and you'll have greater ball control. But again, let's take a look. Let's watch the swing as it goes. We're going to move it along. The first 3 feet, you're going to see it tends to come back, and only this time now, when you're moving it, as you get into the backswing, in the first 3 feet, the club head doesn't match your hands anymore. It's a little bit closed and a little bit outside your hands when you get to this point. So that's a change. And then as we get to the top of the swing, there's another change which I really like, and it's one that is a benefit to you because it would allow you to release the club a little bit more. You can see at the top of the swing now that shaft no longer crosses your forearm plane. Here's the club head. You can see it's more in line with the arm. That's fantastic. That's the piece of it I like. The things I don't like is it's still too vertical, but with the shoulders. The shoulders are still tilted too much, and you can see that 37-degree number. So then as you come back down, you're going to see a different position. There's that proverbial squat that you always do, which if we had more horizontal movement in the backswing, you wouldn't have to do that. You'd already be in this position. And now as you come down, you're going to see the golf club again get on the right plane. It gets in there. It gets pretty close to where it was as you come into contact here. And then as you release it to the other side, there's a little bit of a difference. There's the shaft coming back up. There's the right forearm coming back up. It's a little bit flatter than the original number there at address, but it's pretty close. But look at your left arm. See, it's no longer as straight as it was before. When we looked over here and you saw that release point on 2000, we'll just back this one up a little bit. You can just see how that elbow there was so straight to hold that club face off. You can actually release it a little bit more now because at the top of the swing your shaft doesn't cross the forearm plane anymore. But you can still get hooks because your shoulders are too steep, they're too tilted. So we've got to get more horizontal movement to take the left side out of the golf course. Yeah, you heard me, take the left side out. I'd like for you to be able to stand on the tee and know it's not going left. And if we get these numbers right, it won't go left. So there we go. I mean, we're looking at nearly two identical swings from 2000 to 2015. The only difference is at the top of the swing, the shaft doesn't cross the forearm like it did in 2000. But the numbers are identical. They're just identical. So now, let's just take this one out for a minute. We're going to take this one down. I'm going to go grab a video and I'm going to show you where these numbers should be and how these matchups come into play. And this is significant too. Not only do I teach this, this is me hitting the ball on the left. I teach it and I do it. And the reason I came up with this is I was after the ultimate ball control like you are. I was tired of missing the ball and not understanding why. So I set out to fix it. And we found the solution, and here it is. So let's look at these numbers right off the bat. We're going to start with a shaft at address. It's 49. Let's go with a vertical. The vertical for me, sorry flipping around here, is 70. You can see it. My vertical is 70. And as we get to this, my horizontal is 21. Now 70 and 21 is 91. That's awfully close. But here's the kicker, Tiger. 70 minus 21 is 49. And if you remember, let's go back to that original shaft angle at address where we're sitting here. It's 49 degrees, so there's a match. And not only are we swinging the golf club at 49 degrees and trying to keep it at 49 with the subtraction of the vertical minus the horizontal, we're also going to try to get the arms and the shaft to move at 49 degrees the entire time throughout the swing. So let's take a look at this. Watch as the golf club comes away here, the first 3 feet. You can see the shaft stays pretty much parallel to that original line. There it is right across from my hands here. And we're going to watch as it flips over. Look where it is. See, it's parallel to that original angle. And then as it goes up, it goes right through my shoulder like yours does. But let's look at the top of the swing here. Not only is my forearm at 49 degrees, and I'll show you the 49. This is why I put this number up here. You can see this is 49. Not only is the forearm at 49, so is the shaft. So there's a perfect match. We're keeping the shaft and the arms at that 49 degree angle so we get 100% of our energy into this golf ball coming down. And you're going to watch. Now it's going to reverse. It goes right back through the shoulder again. You see the shaft is paralleling the original angle, and watch this as it comes into impact. It's parallel there. As it gets into impact, watch it disappear right into the original line. It's going to release through to the other side, and watch as it comes up over here. There it's parallel again. There's that 49 degrees, and watch the right forearm as it finishes. There it is. So now you're seeing a golf club that's being swung in its entirety with the shaft plane staying at 49 degrees and the arms at 49 degrees the entire time. Plus, the other kicker to this and why this golf ball doesn't bend offline is at the top of the swing here, there's no hinge in there. That left arm to shaft angle right here at the top is exactly the left arm to shaft angle that it was here at address. All I did was rotate it into the right place and not let any extra hinge go in there. If that shaft were to cross that forearm plane up here, I'd hit hooks and blocks. That's going to happen. That's just what happens. So from when I was growing up playing, I used to have it across that forearm plane, and when I took it out, the hooks disappeared. They disappeared. And now when I get the horizontal and vertical numbers right, everything goes, nothing but clockwork. And now the club face stays square to wherever I swing the arms each time. And you can see now we're swinging a golf club that stays parallel to the original angle, and it keeps the face straight. So no matter where I swing my arms, the face is square to the arms as they swing. This is the way to do it. No loss of distance. I know everybody says, oh, you mess with the hinge, you got to have hinge. If you don't have hinge in the swing, you can't get distance. Well, that's just totally wrong. It's wrong, and it's wrong, it's wrong. And I'm going to tell you that right now because none of my players are losing distance. They're all gaining it because this golf club is coming in swinging 100% at the right angle, and this shaft is releasing properly at the bottom and kicking that ball down the fairway. Now, obviously, I can't hit it as far as you can. I'm not as strong as you are. But at your strength, you ought to be able to crush this thing. So distance is not going to be a factor for you. And you're going to have ball control, which is the thing you've always desired. So I hope this makes sense. For yours over here, what we've got to do is we've got to get you set up, and we've got to get you in a position to where we're taking the shoulders on a flatter plane. We're not going to rock it up in the air like that. We're going to turn it and set those shoulders in the low 20s, and that's going to help us get the gap right between where the hands are going up and the shoulders are turning to match the shaft at address. And we may have to flatten your lie angle on your irons a little bit, because when you look at that, as you get the more horizontal movement, the iron lies might be too upright. And so if the pulls come in, we'll take them out by changing the lie angles. I changed mine. Mine are on the flat side, and mine are on the flat side especially too, because I don't like going left. And so I set up my golf club so left isn't an issue. I don't want to go left. If I miss it at all, if I don't get my full release, I might push one a little right, but I'm not going to miss one left, I can promise you that. So that's what I see. That's what I think you need to do. We get the horizontal and vertical numbers right, you're going to have the greatest control over the golf ball you've ever had, and it's going to make a giant difference in what's going on. And I know for certain it's going to make it easier for you to get this done and make it work. And I'm convinced that this is what you need to do, without a doubt. And you know what? Hey, I'm willing to meet you whenever, wherever to make this happen. And so the other thing with this that I want you to understand, the changes we're going to make here, they don't take 12 to 15 to 24 months. They're going to take maybe 2 weeks. A guy with your talent should pick this up in no time. I've said it before, and maybe I'll put this into your head so you think it, maybe you've already thought it. A guy with your talent should never take as long as it's taken you to get things done. The reason it's taken you so long is you haven't had the golf club in the proper position with the horizontal and vertical movements, so you've always struggled with the timing. I'm going to take the timing issue away so that you can get the control of the ball right away. And no, it's not going to take you forever. It's only going to take you a couple of weeks. And heck, you might even do it faster with as talented as you are, and get this ball under control right away. And you want to dominate again? Start shooting those low scores like you used to. A short game, yeah, you've made some changes. You've gotten that better this year. At the start of the year, you looked like a robot trying to pitch it. Everything was all stuck together, and it just didn't work. But you made some significant strides in that, and the putting will get better as you start striking it better. You know as well as I do that that's going to go hand in hand. But for a ball striking, this is the way you want to get it done. You want control. This is how you get control. And like I said, it's not going to take forever. It's going to take a short period of time. And I think you're going to find that this is exactly what you've been looking for, and this is what you're going to need. Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering what Mr. Spieth's numbers are, here he is on the left. Let's take a look. Let's look at the shafted address is 47. The vertical is 75. Horizontal is 33. 75 and 33 is 108. But 75 minus 33 is 42, and that's a lot closer to that 47. So there's a little bit better control, but you're going to have way better control when we get yours to be a dead match. So that's it. You know what? I'm happy to help you. You just got to tell me when and where. Let's get together. Let's get this done. I know it's something you've never seen before, and a lot of people haven't seen before, but this is how we're going to get great control over the golf ball without sacrificing any distance, or in case gaining distance, and get you back to playing the game of golf and controlling the golf ball like I know you've always wanted to do. So you can look it up to find me. Just let me know. You can look at my website, plainsimplegolf.com. All my contact info's out there. Plane, plainsimplegolf.com. That's where I'm at, and we can take it from there. All right, Tiger, all the best to you, and continued success. And like I said, if you want to know what it's like to hit a ball with these numbers, let me know. See you.